Hey guys, it's Beane shooting again from my home here in Atlanta, Georgia. And what can I say? We just launched our multi-level mentor brand and it's very exciting. People are emailing questions like crazy. People are leaving comments like crazy. People I haven't talked to in years are contacting me and it really feels good. For those who don't know my story, I became a public speaker and coach and trainer, but I got my start in network marketing. So I have a lot of friends I still stay in touch with. Thousands of people still watch the videos and view my website. So what can I say? I'm kind of like Jay-Z. I can't retire. I can't leave the game alone. So what I want to tell you guys is very powerful. We take questions and we take comments and we kind of build a community of positive, upwardly mobile networkers who have questions and want to have an objective perspective and kind of an outside look. You know, sometimes your upline or your sideline or your downline, you guys can get kind of close and stay connected. So sometimes you want an honest or a third party opinion. And that's what I want to give you guys. I was very blessed to retire when I was only 22 years old because of network marketing. I've been in the industry for about almost 20 years and 17 full time. So I actually went from 3 digits all the way up to 7 digits in this industry. So I have some experience. I've been to the top positions in 3 service-based companies and 2 product-based companies. So there's not a lot that I have not seen. So let's see what happens. Let's see what kind of questions we get today. And again, in 2 minutes or less, I'll do the best I can to help as many upwardly mobile networkers as possible, because even though I retired from traditional network marketing, I'm still a big evangelist for the industry. So let's see what we have. How do I divide my time between getting customers for my product or service and building my team to market my product or service? In other words, this is a great question. This is a great question. In other words, the good time management division. Well, I can tell this person is kind of new, which is great. Welcome to our multi-level mentor community. But here's the cool thing. There's a third division that I want you to consider when you think about your time management. And when we talk about time management, we're only talking about as it relates to the business. We're not talking about balance spiritually, socially, emotionally, physically, mentally. We're not talking about overall balance. So I want to make sure I preface that when I give you this answer. There's a video on YouTube. I want you guys to put my name in YouTube or go to my YouTube channel and you'll see the video where I talk about the perfect wheel, and I'll give you a different perspective on that perfect wheel. But as it relates to the business, here's what I want you to consider. There's also a third division called driving your legs. That's another thing you have to balance in network marketing. In other words, there's getting customers and acquiring customers or services on your services or products, which is where your qualifications generally take place on the acquisition of customers on a product or service. Then there's introducing people to the business idea so that you can build your distribution base or your organization. And then there's another part of time management you need to consider if you're a new person, and you may not have to do it right now, but you will as you succeed, is driving your legs. Or in other words, taking the organization that you're building and duplicating to help them do the same thing. So to answer your question in more of a direct approach, within your first 5 to 10 days, you want to get, and I literally, when I say 5 to 10, that's a stretch. You want to get the qualifications of the first corporate earned position out the way, honestly, within 24 to 72 hours. I'm just going to be honest with you, because the longer it takes you to do the things that you say you're going to do, your will to do it starts to diminish. So what you want to do, you want to go ahead and get the personal qualifications out the way. Now, of course, most of you guys are in companies where there's a monthly fulfillment, and I'm not answering that particular question in this particular video, but go ahead and get one segment, which is your customer qualifications, knocked out. So you want to spend within the first 5 to 10 days of the business, even though I want you to get it done within 1 to 3 days, you want to spend your first 5 to 10 days 50% customer acquisition, 50% personally sponsoring. Because what that does, that helps you get the sponsorship or fast start bonus. There's always some form of promotion. There's always something that happens if you take care of your qualifications faster. If it's not, there's always a feeling or sense of joy that comes at least when somebody joins your business, no matter how long it takes. So I want you to spend 50% of your time acquiring customers and getting qualified, and the other 50% of your time introducing people to the business. As far as your first position in the company, meaning the one where you just signed up, don't worry about driving your legs just yet because you don't have a team. Now, once you hit your first earned position, that generally takes what? Some type of organization, some form of sponsorship, right? I want you to change your position or change your percentages. I want you to spend 20% of your time still getting customers, because see, that's the lifeblood of the business. You always want to continue to get customers. You're just not going to focus on it as much for this particular goal. So spend 20% of your time staying in phase one, getting those customers, getting those products, getting those services taken care of. But you spend 60% of your time now personally recruiting, putting people in front of a presentation. I don't even like to use the word recruiting. I like to refer to it as enrolling people into the business, enrolling people into the vision. That's 60%. That leaves another 20% for you to actually drive your legs. That means to take the people that you've personally sponsored and help them do the exact same thing. The best form of coaching or training is on-the-job training. So now when they sponsor a person, you get underneath that person and you start to produce results for their organization. Now, once you start hitting the second or third earned position in the company, your percentages are going to shift drastically. You're going to spend about 10% of your time still getting customers. And I gave that 10% just because as leaders, you always want to lead by example. So even though you're at the second or third or fourth position in the compensation plan, some of the leadership levels, you never want to put a 0 next to getting customers, right? I mean, there may be some leaders that have huge organizations watching this particular video, and you guys know I'm telling the truth. How would you feel if one of your reps asked you, when's the last time you got a customer? And you're like, I don't get customers anymore. So you always want to spend at least 10% of your time still introducing your product or service. But now you spend about 30% of your time personally recruiting or personally enrolling. A lot of people say recruiting. So you always want to spend time enrolling people into the business, and you always want to spend time getting customers no matter how high you get in the compensation plan. But here's the reality. The bigger your organization, now that you guys are at the top of the compensation plan, for any leaders who may be watching, of course, you know it's time to spend about 60% of your time driving the organization that you started. So just to give you guys a summary on the third position, only after you hit the third or fourth position in your organization, you want to spend about 10% of your time getting customers, because your customer base is pretty solid now. At this point, you want to make sure you retain those customers. So send them thank you cards. Always send them birthday cards. I was a customer loyalty nut. I always give them cool little, gifts and make sure they stay happy. Because listen, any business owner will tell you it costs a lot more to acquire a new customer than it does to retain the customers that you have. So spend 10% of your time there. Spend 30% of your time enrolling people into the business. Now that you have a decent organization growing, you want to spend 60% of your time making sure you develop leaders, making sure you train leaders, and making sure you duplicate leaders. So the ratio shifts from 10 to 30 to 60. I hope that helps, guys, and that's a little longer than I normally like to go, but I hope you understand that time management in network marketing is very, very important, and there are 3 things you want to focus on: customer acquisition, personal enrollment, driving the organization that you build, okay? Hey, listen, continue to send questions. Please comment or post any information you like or suggestions below, and remember, continue to make bold vertical moves and take financial quantum leaps.